spaghetti.
S-D-P, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
I just want to know, am I drinking out of the chalice of Game Over Winnipeg?
Yeah.
I believe you are.
Yeah, Game Over Peg. Love it.
Did you see it last night?
I didn't, actually. I went to bed early.
No one did.
Yeah.
Because Brad was sick.
Oh!
They had to cancel that one.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, and he needs to rest up and be well. Because we're going to see him Friday.
That's right.
Actually, no, we're going to see him Thursday.
Yeah, no, it's going to be, we got the Easter Seals tournament coming up. By the way, I was like, I woke up yesterday morning and I had 50 emails from the Easter Seals people. I'm like,
good.
What? I'm like, what's going on here? Why am I getting so many donations? And then I realized that you'd mentioned it in LFR and that you're doing a giveaway, right?
Yes, a signed Mitch Marner jersey that I was going to put right here on the table. And it's downstairs. I could go get it.
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
I could go. Like I got
I think
a
people
nice
know.
long letter from the person who gave it to me, and I should probably say their name and know their name. But since
Why don't we
neither
just-
thing is in front of me,
Why don't we read it tomorrow? Because tomorrow's show, which we are doing a show tomorrow,
Yes.
because the tournament is Friday, you can read the thing out and,
That is
and see
what I
why
would
we're
do.
doing it.
Hit the links in the description if you want to donate to Steve Dangle, myself, or Adam Wilde. All of our pages there for donations are in the description.
and donate to my personal page, you're automatically entered into a raffle for 2 Leafs tickets. Donate to any of my teammates. Could be Adam, could be Jesse, could be anyone else that you see on the team. You're automatically entered into a raffle for a signed Mitch Marner Leafs jersey.
It's great.
Nice.
It's great. I've received 59 donations so far.
Sheesh.
That's a lot.
That's good.
I have pulled ahead of Jesse, but
Really?
I am not yet ahead of Steve.
no.
I told you my goal this year is to beat Steve.
All right, so how about
And-
this? Because I was bragging last episode about how you're a loser because you're in third place, and now I'm in third place. So I girl bossed a little too close to the sun for that. But I got 85 donations.
Oh,
And you got how many?
I've gotten 59, I think.
So I'm beating you by volume. So you have, I figured this out.
No, 79.
What did the stats say?
Justin,
Adam-
you're the best.
Justin got the jersey.
I got the higher per capita.
The stats say, if we read the analytics, the rich people are siding with their fellow Richie, Adam Wilde.
Listen,
He has more money than me with
said-
less donations.
more dollars per 60, baby.
All the rich people
More
are on
expected
the
dollars.
rich guy's side.
That's
Damn
right.
It.
That's right.
All
That's
his
right.
season seat holder buddies. Yeah.
By the way,
yeah,
All the
Jersey.
regular folk, thank you.
Oh, by the way, you can unfold it. And,
Yeah,
like show them that
certificate of
it's
authenticity.
Here's the thing with this jersey too is it's an authentic jersey. Like it's not just some jersey. It's like
Yeah.
it's
show
the
the
real
signature.
deal.
There you go.
Show the what?
The signature. I think.
He did.
Oh, you
yeah.
did? Oh, sorry.
There you go. And the letter for the gentleman who donated it, we will
Read tomorrow. It'll be
We'll
fine
read tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll read tomorrow. Thank you. Shout out Justin for getting this.
Yeah. No, it's really.
I'm so afraid to be rough with it. Like I don't even.
Well, why don't you put it in the bag, and then we're gonna put it away.
But I
because
could-
we're not gonna leave it there the
Oh,
whole
okay.
show.
We'll
Because
leave it.
here's why we're not gonna leave it there the whole show.
Okay.
Steve has a full cup of coffee and a
know.
glass of water.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay, we're just not gonna do that. Maddie, I'm gonna ask you to come grab it from him, or if you can just throw it.
Thank you.
Throw it to Maddie.
No.
We almost got
Caught it.
We almost got a Maddie, a first time Maddie shot, but we did not. Maddie face reveal. What do they call it?
Yeah, that's we did that on.
Did we do that?
Steve
Did we do
Dangle
it?
and I did a floorball accuracy shooting competition, and Maddie was in it.
Oh, that's where we
where
got
the
it.
comments
Okay,
came
see,
from.
but this is the thing. It hasn't happened on the SDP yet.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to tell you a good stat. Would you guys like to hear a good stat? The good stat is from Kevin Papetti, who's a good Twitter follower.
This I know exactly what you're about to read. This is the dumbest thing ever. This is real.
The Leafs at 5-on-5 having 45.8% goals for expected, right?
This isn't what I thought. It
Okay,
was.
this is also
I was
bananas.
wrong.
That is good enough for 27th in the league.
Ooh.
It's 50.8% when Camp is off.
Kampf.
When he's on, it's 30.4%.
I told you he's been terrible.
It's the second worst relative goals for per game in the league among the 485 players with 100 plus minutes.
Oh, with the 100 plus. I was going to
Yeah.
say, who's the worst? Is it Reeves?
Well, Reeves might be up there. I don't think Reeves has played 100 minutes.
No, there's no way.
Now, Jack Campbell. Is this the Jack Campbell one?
No, I thought
that's a good one. Okay, I'll save that one then.
He's just, listen, we've been talking about him for years. Kevin Papetti, it's just banger after banger after banger.
Yeah. Yep, he's just an incredible follow.
You bring up the Campbell one. I want to.
No, the Campbell one we're saving for Campbell when we talk about Campbell.
well,
I want to talk about the Leafs.
He basically was like, the winning recipe against the Lightning is go down 4-1, have Samsonov get pulled, put Wool in net. Matthew Nyes gets 3 points.
Yeah, it was a carbon copy. I have to say, Dom Lucian said it perfectly too. He's like, the Leafs are remarkable in the fact that they are able to look like the NHL's worst and best team in the same game.
They won. It's great that they won. Isn't this exactly what we flagged?
What did we flag, guys? Let's go into it.
They fall behind. They know how to come back because, have you seen the guys they have on their team? And then
they cheat to offense, though. That's the key.
They cheat to offense, and then once it's tied again, it's kind of jump ball. They did get the lead and blow it again. It was only a 1-goal lead, but they couldn't hold it. They won it in overtime because, Adam, what did they do? What did they do? It was really novel.
No, I can't. I simply couldn't.
No?
I can't take this one.
You mustn't?
I can't. Please tell. I'm just going to sit here in vain satisfaction. Okay?
They started the current, I'm going to call him this, the current best player in the world in overtime. He, I think, won the faceoff, and they won in less than a minute.
What? No way. Man, he should get paid $11.5 million, and then next year, $13.5 million.
What? Wow.
That's what he should get paid for doing stuff like that. 13 goals in 12 games?
But enough about Calle Yarncrook.
This is great. Listen, I don't want to be right about this. I didn't want to be right.
There was such a difference in strategy. Obviously Matthews starts overtime, but also they won that overtime 46 seconds in. 6 players took the ice. They got a full change in.
Quick strategy change. Yeah. Yep. I want to know, first off, by the way, Nylander extending the point streak
in overtime
on the last goal.
Fantastic.
Love that.
Breaking Hagel's ankles in the process.
I want to go through different pieces on this team because there was a line shakeup. Let's start with Matthew Nyes.
Yes.
And what he brings to the top line. We've seen this before. Jesse.
Yes.
I want to know what you thought of him on the top line, and does he deserve to be there?
Yeah, because Matthews and Marner play a unique style in that it's not really compatible with everybody who's up there. You know, they have a specific way they get the puck to each other because I think they're more in sync than most center and wingers are. Yeah. You know, so you got to have somebody who's willing to play with them in their style, and it's really quick. It's off the rush. There's a lot of passing, a lot of extra passes, and Matthews Nyes' style fits that. I think the young legs don't hurt. You know, like I feel like that energy that he brings there is perfectly complements their style. And it's a shame that it took 11 games into the season. Like we saw how Bertuzzi didn't work out because the specific way he plays doesn't complement them. And you have Matthew Nyes, and I think he needs to get the longest run here with those two.
You can't necessarily expect them to score goals the way they did all the time, but 2 of those goals were friggin' stupid.
Yeah.
I think it was Marner saucing it to Nyes. He bats it down and gets his own rebound, basically. Passes it to himself off the ice. Marner's Hail Mary pass to Nyes, spinning shit to Matthews, tucks it under the pad. And then what am I missing? Oh, the one where Matthews shot it from the high slot, Hail Mary, but Nyes jumps up with his massive ass. And Johansson's not seeing that. Dude, what a trio. Yeah. Meanwhile, Tyler Bertuzzi, who started the season on that line, I don't think he has a 5-on-5 goal. You're right. It shouldn't have taken this long to get to this point. Yarncroke was fine, but you saw how much better he was in a depth role on a line that made sense.
And you look at the guys who didn't work out through the years. Nick Ritchie. And the guys who Nick Ritchie, let's say, and Bertuzzi, now we'll throw them together in that camp. And then you look at the guys who did work out, Bunting and Hyman, and you say Nyes is more in the Bunting and Hyman camp. You know, 100%. In terms of the way they play and how they can just complement Matthews and Marner. So
don't forget VC.
VC
Don't
didn't
forget
work
Jimmy
out.
VC.
Yeah, but it's a shame Sheldon Keefe didn't work this out in the preseason, and we didn't have to have this headache. But, you sign Bertuzzi to that big deal, $5.5 million. I get why the money gets the opportunity. And now that we're here at this point in the season, there's a lot of games left. 70, I believe.
7? That's so many games.
Hold off on Bertuzzi, by the way. Don't go into too much.
There's a lot of time to correct this mistake, and now they're here, and it's good.
I wanted to say, the reason I said that, Jesse, was not for you. It was for Steve, because you brought up Bertuzzi, and he was going to be like, eh! Like, I could see, and you got stuff to say.
Yep. Nope.
I want to say this.
And, I'm not trashing the guy. I'm not trashing the guy.
I want to say this. I think that somebody started this on Twitter, and I think they're absolutely right. Currently, Matthew Nyes is a point behind Minchukov, Cooley, and Evangelista, and Bobby Brink.
What's that first name?
Minchukov?
Minchukov.
Yeah. Okay.
He's on the Ducks.
He's been really good. Point behind them for the rookie scoring lead. He is tied with Connor Bedard. Matthew Nyes
and almost
might get some Calder votes this year.
Yeah, almost all of his points came in 2 games where he was on the top line.
Yeah, crazy, right? Now I wanted to move down to left wing too. Okay.
Yes.
Now we talk Bertuzzi with Tavares and Nylander.
That was an improvement.
Because here's the thing. The tweet that you sent out after the first period, which said something to the effect of "There's some guys that don't belong here anymore." Well, I know that he would have been top of the list for that at that point.
Yeah, he wasn't exactly who I had in mind with that tweet, but he fit the bill, and he was fine. And he still wasn't the greatest, but the effort level was there. Mm-hmm. And where I was,
and that's all you want, right?
That's all. Listen, it's not going to go in every game.
No.
It's not going to go in every game. I don't know. I don't know what people think we expect, but it's not that. And what I was going to say with Bertuzzi, continuing that conversation about who should be playing on the left of Matthews and Marner, I kind of always thought Bertuzzi was a better match for Tavares Willie, or just Tavares, because you can switch Marner and Willie. Although I don't really think that's in the plans. He had a better game. That's all you can do. Is have a better game. They won. Feel good. If he gets one against Ottawa tonight, that'd be great.
He was -2 against Tampa. He has 1 5-on-5 point for the entire season.
Is it a goal?
No, it is an assist. He has 2 power play goals and 1 assist, and that was an even strength assist.
Right. So we're worrying about whose line he's on. He hasn't scored on any line he's been on.
No.
Unless you count a power play goal as being on the line. It's a unit, right? It's a little different.
Right.
Maybe I'm splitting hairs.
I think it's interesting that his minutes were up. Played 17 minutes in the Tampa game.
They should have been.
Is the third most he's played all season long. He played 18 in the Dallas game.
No, they should have been. And yeah, he was a -2. I don't know if I'd put either goal on him.
I'm trying to remember which goals he was on for.
It was a shit diarrhea hurricane.
It was. The beginning of the game was bad.
Oh my God.
I had a good chat with Ryan Hanna from Winged Wheel, which if you're a Detroit Red Wing fan, you gotta listen to that show. It's a great show.
We can't pump their tires anymore.
They're on fire at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, So
that podcast, and the team.
Yeah, I was talking to Ryan about Bertuzzi, and what am I missing here? Because the guy I saw in Boston was not here. Now, this is after the first, right?
Of course.
But even so, it wasn't like Bertuzzi had a crazy, oh my God, coming out game. And he said, listen, he can be that guy, but he can't be that guy if he's further down the lineup. He's got to be next to your playmakers, to your big guys. He's not going to, it's like the criticism of DeBrincat last year in Ottawa was that he couldn't drive his own line. Therefore, he shouldn't make the money that he was asking for, which was expensive. He wanted an expensive deal, and who can blame him? Bertuzzi seems like maybe another guy that if he's on a line like Tavares Nylander, if they find some chemistry, in theory, that line should work. I mean, this is a guy that is a really good offensive player, not great defensively. Tavares can maybe handle some of those responsibilities and can kind of grind a little bit more than probably Nylander would. I'm not saying Nylander's soft, but he's not like, you don't think Nylander's going to punch someone in the face. Like you see that with Bertuzzi a little bit, right?
Well, okay, here's a weird idea because Matthews can make plays. Mm-hmm. He's not a playmaker. He can make plays. He's not a playmaker. Tavares can make plays. He's not a playmaker. Mm-hmm. Those are both probably shoot first guys. Domi's in the middle now. He's a playmaker.
Yeah.
Bertuzzi with Domi, and then on the right you can either have Robertson or Yarncroke. And then whichever one of those two you don't use on the right side of the third line, you put on the left side of the second line with Tavares and Willie. Mm-hmm. There's one way to get him going. Or he looked better last game. Just leave him there.
Well, I think that's what they're going to do.
Because the third line, they finally figured it out. I don't want to
So
screw with it.
Let's go to it. Robertson, Domi, Yarncroke.
Last thing on Bertuzzi.
Sorry, go ahead.
Last season, he had 6 even strength goals throughout the entire season. Wow. So if we're expecting a lot of even strength goals, based on last year, we're not going to get a lot of them. And the second even strength goal he had all last year came in February.
Okay, so I'm asking you this, guys. I hope that the Leafs front office staff looked that up.
Mm-hmm. But that is with an injury that I'm cheating a little. But yeah, second even strength goal came in February.
Wow.
So if we're still waiting for his first one, might be waiting even longer till the second one. So
not great.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah. Not great, Bob. So now let's talk about the third line. Because really, line issues have been a problem for this team for the first 12 games. And this is the first time that I think the fans got to see the lineup that we would have ideally wanted.
Something like it.
Yeah. This is like, it was almost like the coach being, I'm not going to, and coaches do that. They're like, no, I know better than you.
But Keefe hasn't really done it. He has
not done it. No,
he hasn't really done it with the forwards.
No, he's done it with defense.
He's done it with defense.
CC Riley.
For
an entire year, CC Riley.
Yeah, well, bad.
And then we had the GM try to tell us that CC played great. How's that going, Edmonton?
How about scratching Liljegren for Hull in the first Tampa series? Boo and hiss.
Robertson, Domi, Yarncroke. Robertson, who's had a great start in the AHL. Domi, who's played center multiple different teams. There's questions about his defense, but Yarncroke, there's no questions about his defense.
No.
So you feel like there's some good balance there. What did you guys see from those lines? What did you feel like you took away from it?
Well, with Robertson, I saw a player who didn't need to be traded. This is perfect. This is, like, for all the things we criticize the Leafs about, this is just about perfect. Nick Robertson was fine in the preseason. He was fine. Mm-hmm. What's his biggest flaw? Hasn't bloody played hockey for like a year and a half.
Yep.
So they send him down to the Marlies, plays 9 games, 11 points. He looks every bit as good as we knew he was. It's just that he needed to what?
Play.
Play!
He played 17 games between the Leafs and Marlies last year. That's it.
He didn't play hockey! So he goes down, tears it up, team needs him, calls him up. He's great. This is how it works.
He got an assist, by the way, too.
He got an assist. This is why I was never for trading him. And, a change of scenery. Yeah, Ricoh Coliseum and then Scotiabank Arena. There's your change of scenery. Mm-hmm. Okay? Some patience here. You know, what is it? You don't want to put a saddle on a Mustang? I get it. What should have happened with Robertson happened. It's one of the few things that the Leafs have, like, nailed this season.
I wonder with that, too, and I want to go to Jesse next on something, but with Robertson, it feels like he is a part of a cohort that people need to be more patient with because of COVID. If you were 19 years old when that first wave of COVID hit, there's a pretty good chance it's going to take you longer to develop.
That whole, like, the 2018, the 2019, dude, look how many first and second round picks from the 2018 and 2019 drafts have gone on waivers. Like, just from the Sens alone. Mm-hmm. Who was Buddy from the Penguins? Ty Smith?
Yes.
I don't even know his name. I should. Like, these are all guys. And, like, I want to say he was nominated for the Calder, and then he fell off a cliff. Like, it's like 5 years worth of draft class that just had it screwed up for everybody.
From people that I've talked to, it's messing up scouts now, too, because a lot of those kids who were 12 or 13 years old are starting to get into draft eligible areas. And they just don't know. And it could make the draft actually really interesting because you could go back to, remember the days when, like, the Red Wings were grabbing Datsuk and Zetterberg in, like, the 8th round, long may it rest. And that could happen.
It's rare. It's rare these days. You find players, it's rare that you find, like, those two are going in the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm.
Aren't they already?
They ought to be. Well, Datsuk, I don't know if he's even retired officially.
Okay, yeah. Phoenix might still be paying him, or Arizona.
They might, or whichever one. Winnipeg could be.
Yeah.
Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, Robertson. He was over a goal a game in the OHL with a year of junior eligibility remaining.
Wow.
Like, he was fucked.
Yeah.
He was so good. So to see him out there succeeding was great. Now, he did make a mistake, I thought, on one of the goals against. I think it was on the fifth one, on the tying one. But that third line was exactly what I said it would be, even when people threw up flags. Because they're like, Robertson, Domi in the middle, Yarncroke. Ooh, I don't know about that line defensively. They did more good than bad. It's your third line. It don't have to be perfect, just more good than bad. You watch that game. Did that line do some bad? Yes. Did they do some good? Yes. Did the good outweigh the bad? Yes. That's a good line.
Jesse.
With the Nick Robertson trade thing, the narrative wasn't necessarily coming from fans. It wasn't a little bit, but I don't think a lot of fans were coming up with
A little more
that.
media driven?
It was his agent.
Probably.
Like they expressed concern, and because the insiders were talking about Nick Robertson wanting a trade. If you remember that preseason narrative, it was featured on a couple of different
been
podcasts,
many times.
hockey podcasts. And where do those rumors often come from?
The agent.
The agent.
So
The
he can
insiders
go somewhere else, score a bunch of points, make his money.
The insiders aren't leaking that information out there if it's not coming from a source close to Nick Robertson, so that was the unhappy nature with him being sent down. I think it came from the Nick Robertson side of the camp, and now we just need time for it to figure out.
And now he's like, what, a couple bad Bertuzzi games away from being on the second line?
Yeah.
Or how about this? They just continue to do well on the third line, and he puts up a bunch of points, and all of a sudden he's a millionaire.
And it's perfectly fine.
And it's perfectly fine.
And if Nick Robertson plays, let's say he plays 60 of the next, knocking on the thing. Oh, did the poppy fall off?
No, it's on you.
Actually, there, you caught it.
There it be.
Steve's obsessed with telling us our pop.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you poppy.
Sorry, I've already done it once to each of you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just yell poppy.
Poppy.
So
He scored again.
if Robertson comes in and let's say he plays 60 of the next 70 games, you just never know what's going to have, 60 of the next 70 games. If he gets 35 or 40 points, that's a success.
Yep.
That'd be unbelievable.
I think that's attainable.
It would make him a millionaire.
Yeah.
If you get that many points at that age, in that amount of games,
You're Jake Sanderson.
yeah. No, you're probably better. You like if you're 28 and you do that, I don't know, you might be able to get a PTO somewhere, right? You're
You're Sam freaking Gagne, who scores everywhere he goes and can never get a contract.
everywhere he goes. But if you're as young as Robertson, he's still like 22.
Yeah.
If you're as young as him, you put up those points. Guess what? Multi-year deal. You're a millionaire. Congrats on being set forever.
That's cool.
Well, maybe not forever.
I'm
I've
rooting
seen-
for that.
I've seen inflation.
So guys, I want to talk about, and Jesse, I wanted to ask you specifically about this.
What's up?
And I don't know why I feel like you have an opinion on this. Maybe you don't. Max Domi, centerman.
Oh, it's fine. It's not the greatest.
Nobody complained about it.
He's not the greatest center in the world,
But he's a third line
game.
center behind
He's
two guys that make
third line
$11 million,
center.
right?
Yeah. Like, it's okay.
Yeah?
I don't think it's the long-term solution. I don't think the Toronto Maple Leafs go into the first game of the playoffs with Max Domi as the third line center.
I agree with you there. I think they're making it for a
So
second.
like I can't be amped about this if I don't think that's how it's going to be the ultimate form of this roster.
I mean, I don't think one comeback against Tampa is going to prevent Brad Treliving from ripping this roster limb from limb.
Mm-hmm.
I still think a lot of guys are going, but
I agree with you. I don't think
Good
that
start.
And then let's talk about like what's really wrong here and what's really right, because it's the same position. In a couple of areas. I guess we'll start with the fourth line. Ryan Reeves, I think, was 4 minutes. That's over, right?
oh, like it's so
It's Jover.
Jover. It's already October, Jovember. It's buddy. Like I'm convinced I'm right. He's hurt.
Oh, you think he's hurt?
That's not the same player we saw in the first two games. It's not. Like he was never fleet of foot. He's the slowest player in the NHL by leaps and bounds. Any defensive defenseman in the minors is faster than
It's funny because you can now check these stats with the NHL Edge thing, but Greg Wyszynski did a great article on it yesterday about how long it takes to actually get to the bottom of those stats because the NHL doesn't want you dunking on guys. So he did the experiment of trying to see who was the slowest player in the NHL, and it took him 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Because you can't just reverse sort. You have to automatically hit next row, and it took him 2.5 hours to find out who was the slowest skater.
So who is it?
I forget the name. I think it was
Hey, listen.
a little inconsequential.
We've got an hour and a half, I think.
Yeah, I can look up the tweet, but it's not. I don't think it's relative to the conversation. Matthew Tkachuk was near the bottom of that list, and everyone's like, "Yeah, if Matthew Tkachuk is there, nobody thinks Matthew Tkachuk is a bad player because he's slower than a bunch of guys. You know,
No.
It doesn't mean he's bad."
Well, it's like the giveaways stat.
Yeah,
Like you look at the giveaway stat, it's usually a list of the best players in the world. And so you
No
go,
way, dude.
Oh,
Is it because they have the puck?
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'll get you the slowest game.
But I want to say Noah Gregor looks good, and David Kampf look comfortable doing what David Kampf does.
Yeah, comfortable. Sure. Great.
Listen, I'll say this about David Kampf. He's going to give you everything. And that deal doesn't hurt as much in the upcoming years. Under this year's cap, it sucks.
He's got to get it. I mean, I'm really hard on him because like last year I sang his praises over and over again. Like I love that player. And Justin Williams making his TV debut, I think, was
Coburg
talking
zone.
about, yeah, how one of those goals was just a mystifying path from him, and it finds its way to the back of the net. I can't remember the other guy he called out. I'm going to assume it was Klingberg on account of holy shit.
I think it was, yeah. A few
Oh.
people have called him out. I think Biz called him out on Hockey Night in Canada.
Oh.
Man, getting called out on Hockey Night in Canada cannot be easy by anybody. And they don't call out anyone. They tiptoe around criticism on Hockey Night in Canada. If they criticize anybody, it's like ourselves. Well, we just don't know enough. Hockey Night in Canada would rather take a shot at themselves before they'll criticize a player because it can get back to them, right? It's Hockey Night in Canada. But at the same time, you kind of have to be honest. And I give Biz credit. He was honest. And so was Justin last night. Really honest.
I mean,
or Monday night.
There's footage that I saw recently, and I was like, how have I never seen this before? Don Cherry used to carve Matt Cook, the current head coach of the Newfoundland Growlers, Matt Cook, he's now that he's part of the Leafs organization, not a dirty player.
Yeah.
Clean.
Yeah.
Always has been clean. No.
He was a crazy person.
No, he was a complete, like,
Lunatic.
yeah, lunatic on the ice. And Cherry would be like, who the hell is this rat, basically? And Matt Cook confronted him. Because, like you said, that's the sort of thing that can happen when you criticize someone on Hockey Night in Canada.
I'm sure Don didn't back down an inch because Don was right.
They got right in each other's face.
Nice.
Don Cherry, probably at the time in his 70s, didn't give a shit. I don't know if you've ever
Did that happen on TV?
It wasn't on TV. It's they talked about it on TV. Someone on like a potato camera phone caught them talking. And yeah, they're like pretty much nose to nose. But like, I don't know, you got to be able to stand by your word. Mm-hmm. Listen, I yell and scream about these guys all the time. And sometimes I think about, I'm going to have to talk to them.
Well, it does come back every once in a while.
One time, I don't know if I've told this story, I said something about the Leafs. I don't even remember what it was. And one of them texted me and was like, here's where you're wrong. And at that point, I was like, okay, well, this is why I can't be friends with them. but like, I wasn't like, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, no, you said it for a reason.
I think that.
I said it because I meant it.
Well, it's funny. The Wes McCauley thing that we talked about, I think it was earlier this week or late last week. We put up a post on Instagram, and it's been picked up by Scouting the Refs and Slapshot on Instagram and a few other places. And there are people. Somebody commented on there. Well, what do you know about it? Wes has reffed 1,000 games. Steve Dangle.
Yeah, that's a part of the problem.
Yeah.
1,300.
Yes.
I mentioned that actually.
That's the issue.
You listed all the games.
So you do have to stand behind what you think.
And that's one where I'm like, harsh? Like perhaps too harsh? Maybe. I'm not backing down from the stance though.
No, I think you're bang on. It was funny how many Bruins fans were like, "Yeah, he kind of sucks," and Bruins fans won't let you have the whole thing. They're not going to say, "Oh yeah, that should have been a game misconduct or whatever." But there was a lot of Bruins fans were like, "That's a tripping call." Straight up, it's a tripping call.
Do you guys want to guess which Arizona Coyote is the slowest skater in the National Hockey League? I looked up Greg's article and I got the answer I was looking for.
I don't know all the Coyotes players.
It's got to be a defenseman.
This player topped out at 19.53 miles per hour.
Topped
The
out?
slowest top speed of any NHL forward through Monday's
Nick
games.
Ritchie?
Oh, is he on the Coyotes?
Still?
It is not Nick Ritchie.
Okay.
Trying to think of someone they have who's big. Do they still have Lawson Krause?
It is not Lawson Krause.
Is it a former Leaf?
I'm not giving you any hints.
It's not Alex Kerfoot. There's no way.
It is not. That was your final guess.
Okay,
The
fine.
correct answer is Travis Boyd.
I was a former Leaf.
It was a former
Wow.
Leaf.
That is multi-million-dollar player Travis Boyd.
Man.
Travis Boyd, 19.53 miles per hour, which is fucking fast.
And hey,
And that's the slowest top speed.
you know what that tells me? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But the NHL doesn't want you to have that information because they're afraid that you're going to tweet it and be like, Travis Boyd's a slow, stupid guy.
Yeah, but no one is looking at that. But that to me, as weird as this sounds, speed is an eye test thing, because you can tell when a player's slow. Right? If you give me the numbers, well, actually, no, this guy's the slowest, that guy's the slowest. Well, no, maybe they're just not wasting their energy.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's in the flow of the game, too.
Yes.
This isn't like everybody isn't standing on a line and sprinting. It's within a hockey game.
McDavid is not the fastest player in the National Hockey League.
No.
He's
But-
not.
but it-
with the puck,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's close.
In the context of a game, nobody on planet Earth has ever been faster in an NHL game than Connor McDavid.
He's
I refuse.
one of the fastest players ever.
Yeah.
But or one of the fastest players in the league.
No, but with a puck? With a puck, no
yeah.
one's ever been better than Connor
Not
McDavid.
a single human being in the history of the only two people who might be able to come close historically, like Pavel Bure,
Yeah.
Mike
Andre
Gardner,
Iguodala.
Andre Iguodala.
Actually, the fastest guy I ever saw without the puck was Rico Fata.
Without the puck,
He couldn't handle it.
Ilya
But man, that guy was
Mikheyev.
lightning.
Holding the puck is kind of important.
It's hard.
And Connor McDavid can do everything that anybody can do at like half speed in the NHL, but he can do it at full speed and also faster. It's
Except when-
incredible.
In video games, I used to always get Oleg Petrov as my defense first forward. He had it was like 95 speed, 50 hands.
Yeah.
So he would end every season with I could not for the life of me score with this player.
There was a long time in NHL video games, like from 2000 to like 2014, where it's just if you're a little guy, you're the fastest person.
Marek
on the ice.
Svatos.
Marek
It's so
Svatos,
ridiculous.
king. Kyle
King.
Wellwood as well.
Yeah, Kyle Wellwood.
He had good
I
handling,
used him
too.
all the time because you can skate up the wing and then cut out in front and he'd blow by everybody, and then you do
Cross ice pass, baby.
Yeah.
Three
It was so
on
easy.
three on three big heads. Paul Correa. No one was better.
yeah?
Oh, he
No
was
one
good.
better.
Yeah.
Steve Correa was pretty good too.
He was
So
also pretty.
are you waiving Ryan Reeves?
Yeah. Who the fuck's taking that?
I mean, I think you're
Did
right.
you want a longer answer? I mean,
I think it's fascinating.
Did we save the receipt for Sam Lafferty?
No,
Vancouver can have their fifth rounder back.
No.
Oh well.
That's rough.
You guys, it's done? Like, that's it? We're 11
No, I
games
think
in?
you got to sit him. If he's hurt, you got to sit him. He can't play. There are players that can play hurt. 70% of Austin Matthews is still better than most players in the NHL.
You probably-
70% of Ryan Reeves is not. I don't even know if that's AHL. And I'm not trying to dunk on Ryan Reeves. I've been open to him being here since the beginning. I like who he is. He seems like a really good person, a vibes guy. I thought that's what the Leafs needed, honestly. But I think sometimes you got to be, if you're going to be open to something new, you also have to say, well, this isn't working right now. And it isn't working right now. So sit him. And sit him until he's ready. Or play him when you need to. And CJ came on and he said, guys, Ryan Reeves is not playing every game. So far he has.
Because he had to.
Because he had to. So my question is, when does he not? And I wonder if it's when McCabe comes back, Lajoie goes down, and it gives them the opportunity to bring another forward up.
I don't even know. Like the this is the stupid thing about the salary cap. Timothy Liljegren goes down. And it's horrible for him, but there's almost an air of, oh, now they can do stuff.
Yes.
Right away they call up two guys. Like it's completely ridiculous.
Bonkers.
It's part of the reason Robertson is here finally.
What if I throw this out there and I say you can buy out Ryan Reeves' contract and it's very reasonable?
You can't buy it out
Shut
now,
up.
can you?
What is it?
You can buy it out right now?
I believe
Isn't there
so.
windows?
I don't know how long he has to be on the roster to buy him out. Maybe it's
But he's a 35 plus, so how?
so it's exempt from 35 plus buyout rules.
How?
It is not front loaded and does not have a signing bonus after the first contract year.
So what's the date of the buyout? Oh, the date of the buyout is this summer.
The buyout date is June 15th, 2024. That's
Oh,
the
okay.
first,
All right.
Yeah. You gotta wait till June 15th, 2024. So next summer, after the season, if you buy out Ryan Reeves' contract, all it will cost you is $450,000 against the cap till 2028.
Okay.
So that's the lower body of Noah Gregor, basically. That's all 450 grand is, right?
Yeah.
So I guess you got to do that.
I mean, listen, everyone's going to make fun of you, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if he can find again, I'm still open to him finding a spot and contributing, but right now it's not working, and they do need to look at that.
I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's not 100%.
Me too.
Just because he's a ghost of the player that we saw in the first 2-3 games.
I want to bring this up. I'm going to run you through some numbers.
Oh,
7 games, 2 wins, 4.11 goals against average, and an .855 save percentage.
it's crazy he has 2 wins.
His career, by the way, he is a .271 goaltender and a .906 save percentage. That's Ilya Samsonov. Let me tell you about Joe Wall, who let in. And I want to remind you how many goals he let in against Buffalo. There were people arguing on my Twitter about this.
Wasn't it 5?
Despite the 5 goals he let in,
Yeah.
he has 4 wins,
Yeah.
goals against average of .230,
Wow.
and a .930 save percentage.
Wow.
That's with 5 goals in a game 2 games ago. Joseph Wall is the starter of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
His expected goals in the Sabres game was 5. Like, he was not, even though he allowed 5, he wasn't disappointing.
Right.
Like, the amount of goals that went in, like, were the goals that should have gone in.
Yes.
Right? Whereas Samsonov is, like, listen, not all 4 of those goals should have been stopped. And I mean, like,
well, the first 2 could have been.
like,
And that was the killer, right? The reason I thought the
Hedman
Leafs
one's so shit.
the first 5 minutes of the game, I thought the Leafs played really well.
They did.
And then they were
did.
down 2-0.
It was a 2-1.
Okay,
because
2-1.
Nye scored first.
Right.
But it was just backbreaking. Now, you bring up his career numbers. Like, he's not this bad.
No, he's not.
Not. He goes through stretches where he's this bad, and Sheldon Keefe actually did mention that.
What did he say?
Well, he's basically like, well, he's come out of stretches like this before. So acknowledging that Samsonov can be hot and can be cold. But he was allowed to be the starter to get out of it. Like when Matt Murray got hurt. He's got to find a way, or they got to look for another option.
Well,
he's not outside of the Boston game, which they still lost. He's just not giving you NHL quality starts.
To anybody looking at, what about Martin Jones? His save percentage in the AHL is worse than it was last year in the NHL. It's an .884.
Jones has the 3rd best save percentage on the Marlies. I looked this up yesterday.
Yeah, so I don't know that that's the option you're looking for. I think what
No.
you need is you could see the frustration. Sammy gets pulled. He's slamming his mask. And I get it. This is a guy who was really, really strong for them last year in relief of Matt Murray because he was supposed to be the backup. And was probably feeling pretty good about himself coming into this year. And it comes down to these things. He's moving too much. There is too much
Way
movement.
too much.
And when he moves too much, he's reacting too quickly to things, and he's overreacting, which means he's cheating, or it's the Peter Mrazek syndrome, where again it's you push, but you push too far.
Joseph Woll is a goalie coach's dream.
He stands in one spot.
Just he looks and moves like a transformer. Like he's a robot. He's
Yeah.
a robot. It's awesome. He's a puck stopping robot. I love him.
Yes. Yeah. So Wool's the starter. I think you got to give Sammy a week off. Just let him sit and let him get his confidence back. Let him work with the assistant coaches. You got 3-4 games where you can start Wool. Why not? He's 22. He can start.
Yeah. What do you? Okay. So
Like,
you have 3 games.
Like people are like, oh, you're going to be tired. Sorry. I mean, 22?
you're
No, you're not.
You have 3 games left before you head to Europe.
Okay.
Okay. So you got the Sens tonight I assume Wool is starting.
Yeah.
And then you have a back-to-back Calgary-Vancouver.
Which,
Who do you give what?
oh, you give Sammy's got to play Calgary.
Yeah, like...
Because you need Wool versus Vancouver. They're too good.
Yeah, that's a get your confidence up game versus Calgary, you know.
Unless he gets fucking killed.
But if there is a...
You're not banking on him getting killed.
No.
Steve.
I know. No, the benefit... It could
Jesse,
backfire,
are you
is
sure?
all I'm saying.
Are you sure, Jesse?
Could backfire.
So here's what I would say. I would start Samsonov against the team with the 24th most goals in the NHL.
I think Adam's right. I think you're right, man. Yeah, Wool versus the Sens, Sammy versus Calgary, and then you could at least keep up the illusion of, no, they're alternating. And then Wool versus Vancouver, you fly to Sweden. And they probably start one game each, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's that complicated.
Yeah.
No, it's
Unless
not.
he lets Calgary win, and then you say you're not starting in Sweden.
Yeah, then Joseph gets both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Calgary game decides whether or not he plays in Sweden. That you fly all the way over there to sit on the bench. I don't think that would feel good. And it's not about shaming Samsonov. It's about saying, listen, whatever it is that's going on, we need you to iron this out, because I want to direct you to the one quote that I think mattered after the game. At least on the Leafs side, and we'll talk about the Lightning side too. The one quote that mattered, the one thing that mattered, was Matthews referring to Joseph Wool, and he said he calms everything down for us. And you saw that.
Sammy does not do that. Like, even when he's good, he's not a calm goaltender. No one was ever like, Dominic Hasek really calmed the Sabres down.
Yeah.
You know?
Patrick Waugh, I feel really relaxed around him.
Like, no one...
Intensity can be good,
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
but lack of confidence is also something that throws your team off.
Yes, and the one thing I'd like to see out of Sammy, he's doing there's a slight language barrier there, so it doesn't come across as bluntly. There's a little bit of the Jack Campbell there. Jack Campbell, when he was in Toronto, I haven't heard many of his quotes in Edmonton, but Jack Campbell, when he was in Toronto, would friggin' just rip himself apart.
Yes.
In the media, and like, okay, it's one thing to take accountability. It's good. That should be encouraged. But then it's like, all right, Jack, like, that's enough, man.
Well, they'd win, and he'd be like, I played terribly.
Yes.
You're like,
yeah,
chill
and
out,
Sammy
dude.
does the same thing. And like, listen, okay, you played like crap. I've said this for years with Russian hockey players. Like, they don't understand subtlety. They're not like, yeah, well, you know, I would have liked to have that back. They're like, I'm shit. And that's what he straight up said, I think verbatim.
Yeah, of course.
So I'd like to see him chill a bit. Like one leadership quality that I've seen out of Mitch Marner this year, he has taken it upon himself to be Sammy's PR agency.
Okay.
He has taken it upon himself. No, he's good. I promise you he's good. He's great. We have a chance to win every time he's in net. I think he'll get it back. He's not going to be an 850 goalie forever. But sooner than later, please.
Jesse?
Yeah, you should be. You shouldn't be too down on the long-term outlook for Sammy. Like, I assume he'll get it back at some point this season. It's just these stretches, you can't have them for a team that's trying to go deep in the playoffs and have a good playoff spot going into it. You can't afford these situations where you can't trust your goalie.
And not to be Buzz Killington, Joseph Wool's probably not going to be at 930 forever.
Nope.
So
I mean, he's a career 928. That's like 20 games, but
Yeah.
this season has been the majority of his career.
yeah. No, actually, it hasn't.
No?
I think this season is tied with the last two seasons, because I think he's played about, is it 20 or 21 games?
I do for the
18 games. So he played 4 in 21-22. Last year he played 7. This year he's played 7.
Okay, so he's one game away.
Yeah.
For the life of me, I do not remember him playing 2 years ago.
I know.
Like, I've seen the stats. I know, like, the numbers say he was there. I don't know. You're lying.
He has started 16 games. He came into 2 games this year in relief of Sammy, which is why the numbers are off.
Won both.
So he started 16 games in his career. What's his win-loss record?
Oh, it's crazy.
What do you think, guys?
He started 16 games. It's something stupid, like 11-5.
Okay, Jesse?
I'll say 10-6.
Okay, because 16, right?
Yeah,
13-5. Because he got wins in relief.
Oh, you're right. Oh my God.
Right? Isn't that crazy? And then, so when he started, like, this is how good this guy's been since he came to the Leafs. He played 4 games in 21-22, 3-1. Last year, 6-1.
Nice.
Man,
that's pretty good. And I look at this and I'm like, okay, I don't think that, obviously you're concerned about Sammy. You want him to get it back, but I'm not like worried about it.
No.
Wall, I feel completely comfortable with. He calms things down for Matthews. Yeah, well, me too, sitting on my couch.
I don't, when they announce Sammy as a starter, it doesn't fill me with dread. I just sort of go, oh, okay, well, let's see what Sammy we get tonight.
Yeah, 100%.
I still think the Leafs have 2 very equal goaltenders, very capable goaltenders.
I don't know about the equal thing, but I'll say capable.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jess. I'm with you. And I think Sammy will get back to where he's at. It's just sometimes you get off to a rough start and it sticks with you. So I wanted to quickly mention this too. The Tampa Bay Lightning, as much as Leaf fans are dunking on them right now because that's the second 4-1 come from behind overtime win that we've had.
Dating back to the playoffs, the 3rd time in 5 games the Leafs have erased a 4-1 deficit against the Lightning.
So I think we can put the 4-1 thing to bed.
That's so fun.
But remember, the one in the playoffs was pretty cool because Vasilevsky was playing.
Of course.
But this one, the last 2 have been against the venerable Jonas Johansson. And I don't think if Vasilevsky comes back in mid-December like he's supposed to and then takes a couple weeks and gets back to his form, that option is going to be available for the Leafs.
No, probably not. But Johansson was 5-1-3 coming into that game with a .906, which would be
much better than
far and away the best goalie on a lot of teams in the league right now.
Well, and also just like keep a lead. Like, so the Leafs came back. Like, hold the lead if you're Tampa.
Make a save, bro. Yeah, well, so
make a save.
John Cooper said, we got to walk away from this feeling pretty shitty because he said we've had 3 games on this road trip and we have 3 points to show for it. And he's like, we could have had 6. And it was interesting because when they played Montreal, even though Montreal didn't have a great game, there was a little bit of fear when Montreal scored to make it 4-2 that, here we go again.
Yeah.
And that again does not happen if Vasilevsky's playing.
Shout out Matt Tompkins. First NHL win. I think it was like thousands of days after he was drafted. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. It was pretty impressive performance for somebody who's just been waiting his whole life to get that win.
And now that I've complimented Tampa, let me now rip on them again. Mm-hmm. They have to lead the league in per 60.
What do you mean by
every time 2 people touch from the bench? This is coming from a Leaf fan.
Oh, they whine?
And I know this is the pot calling the kettle black or whatever.
We are whine. Yeah.
They are the biggest bench campaigners in the entire league.
Best part of the entire game was Braden Point going up against the boards in a puck battle and falling over all the guys there and the referee yelling at him, "Play the puck!"
Also, I want to say this. The Leafs do not whine. Leaf fans do.
Yes.
The Leafs don't say shit. That's part of the problem.
Unless you're Michael Bunting last year.
Yeah.
For 82 games.
Yeah. If you go and you take a Leaf's head off, they won't even look you in the eye.
Listen, this is your homework, everybody. If your team plays against the Tampa Bay Lightning, sound up and clip it.
How good is your ice mic? Yeah.
Guarantee at least 2 or 3 times a game.
The Matt Tompkins stat, he's 29 years old, was drafted 7th round of the 2012 draft, and he waited 4,154 days to get his first ever NHL career win.
Wow. Good for him.
Wow. And listen, it came in really strange circumstances. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he knew he was going to be playing games in the NHL this year, but there you go, bud.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
No, keep working.
11 years
draft. Wow.
Yeah, 11 years. The Yakupov draft. That was quite.
Wow.
7th round too. It's not even like he was a high selection. He just kept working.
Mm-hmm.
No, and he played all over the place too, if I remember.
So we got up and we played hockey this morning, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah. And what did Jesse drink on the way to the rink?
I had my AG1.
That's right, he did. Why,
and it
Jesse?
made him better.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I definitely know it made my gut health and my system better. I don't know if it made my hockey playing abilities better.
Well, I don't know. I couldn't come up with something nice to say.
You saw it.
Sorry.
So if you haven't heard of AG1, it's a foundational nutritional supplement that delivers comprehensive nutrients to support your whole body. AG1 replaces your multivitamin, probiotic, and more in a simple, drinkable habit, so you don't have to have that gigantic pill box that my grandfather had for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
It's a little powder, and it comes with an AG1 bottle, and you pour the little powder in there. I do the water and then powder instead of powder and then water. You get 8 to 10 ounces of water in there, 8 to 12, sorry, and then you shake your bottle, and then you drink it, and you're good to go.
I like to put ice cubes in it too because it breaks up the powder.
That's
shake
weird.
it up.
No,
it's like a martini.
That's weird.
Just kind of shaking it like a
Nobody
bartender.
needs ice cubes in their AG1.
What? How do you do that?
Bartenders, they do the figure eight shake.
This was a really
Have
good
you never
ad.
known that? Yeah. Anyway, listen.
Okay.
Check out AG1 if you want to sign up for it. AG1 will give you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/STP. That's drinkag1.com/STP. Check it out. Now, the Edmonton Oilers lost 6-2 in their third loss against Vancouver this season. The starter was Stuart Skinner, who was 1-4-1. So to pay for that, Jack Campbell this morning is on waivers. I know that's sort of me being facetious.
Yeah.
They're both bad. It's just that Stuart Skinner would definitely get claimed.
Yes, of course he would get claimed. He was an all-star last year. It's crazy what's happening in Edmonton right now. I know he didn't end the season well, but he was an all-star last year. Tristan Jarry was an all-star in 2020.
Let me interrupt you guys. When Jack Campbell goes down to Bakersfield, I believe.
Yes.
Who will be the former Leaf that comes up?
Calvin Pickard.
Yeah.
Ken Holland cannot help himself.
Loves a former Leaf.
Who's had a very good season down there so far.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pickard has,
Absolutely. So
He doesn't need to be great.
Jack Campbell has played something like 40 games for the Oilers so far.
Oh, I know what you're about to.
His save percentage is bad. Is really, really bad.
That dude won 11 straight games
Last year,
in Toronto.
it was an 8.88.
Oh,
This year, it's an 8.73.
oh,
So roughly averaged out, it's about an 8.82 if you put that over 41 games, which is what he's played for them.
bro.
8.82, 8.83. That is really rough. And his goals against average is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 350.
Which is still, that feels like enough to have a winning record on the Oilers.
Oh, yeah.
Allowing
Yeah.
3.5 goals a game.
The Oilers are bringing back the 80s, man.
Well, like the main attraction with the Oilers right now is that they can't stop a beach ball. The real problem is they're not scoring their way out of their problems like they always do.
Mm-hmm.
Do we get to talk about that Vancouver game?
Yeah, he wants
That thing was an adventure.
It sure
Yeah?
was.
So you're mentioning them not being able to outscore their problems. Like, they start off the game, shots are like 8-1, 8-0, and Matthias Ekholm gets that power play slap shot to start off the game, and then Vancouver comes back and scores 2 goals. Those 2 goals are scored on 4 shots. You're down 2-1, and you look at the shot clock up in Vancouver, and the shots are 19-4. That's an abomination.
It's a mental backbreaker.
Oh, it's just brutal. And then, like, they're in it the whole game, and it's just so many little mistakes. Like, they start off, and this is the second time they've done this against Vancouver, where they've gone off to a great start, and then for the rest of the game they're just trying to chase their tail. And then you get the I don't know if you guys saw the Demko goal where they ran him over behind the net, and then they get that goal, and then they get one taken away by kicking the puck in. So I feel like they're even on those 2 plays.
Yep.
Sure.
So it kind of balances out, but you have Evan Bouchard, who has an awful pinch on a goal that leads to the 4-2 goal, and that's kind of just the microcosm of the season for them. It's just nobody can play within this system, and you always have these little mistakes that lead to goals. And then you have Connor McDavid getting upset 6 minutes into the third period and cross-checking people and going on the power.
Pie Suter, baby.
Pie Suter, who
Pie Dog.
Pew, who might be like my new favorite player. 3 goals in 3 games, unbelievable. But like McDavid having that cross check is so unlike him.
Well, how about this? Jay Woodcroft getting kicked out of the game is so unlike him.
I think that's. I don't know if the referees have been talking to baseball umpires who have been most like weak-kneed people on planet Earth as a baseball
Jay
umpire.
said that he didn't even. He said he asked him a question.
Yeah, he didn't even swear. No profanity.
Yeah, and what was hilarious again was watching Tim Peel on Twitter go, "Oh, see, this is got to stick up for the ref on this one." I'm like, duh.
No, but we know this is a league mandate now because the second time in a week. Like Cronin was just tossed. So referees have been told, hey, go toss these coaches.
Devil's advocate.
Oh, yeah?
What if I... No.
Defend the referees.
hold on.
Dangle.
Does that mean you're voting for Jack Hughes for Hart Trophy? Essentially the devil's advocate?
Oh.
Ha-ha.
That was fucking awful. That was white New Balance shoes.
Yeah.
Staring at your lawn.
That's where I'm at. Yo, Jesse
yeah.
has always said that. I'm going to hit my prime in my late 40s. That's what he's told me that for
Yeah.
years.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I will be a dad, but like with a grown kid, I will be perfect.
Yeah.
This will
Oh,
be-
you're gonna be like,
I'm working
I have
towards.
arrived.
Yeah, you're getting
Late
to your
bloomer.
peak. You haven't peaked yet.
So you were gonna
Steve,
say,
what's your
devil's
argument
advocate.
for defending the refs?
Everybody loves a
Devil's
devil's advocate.
No, they don't. What I've said for years is like, okay, we've all seen the clips of refs mic'd up. They're about to announce that there's that famous clip. Ref is about to announce a penalty, and a player's yipping at him, and he goes, "Will you shut the fuck up?" And like you hear it, and that's a ref screaming at a player. The relationship that refs have with players and coaches is insane.
Yeah, and that's how it should be.
No, it fucking shouldn't.
So we're changing. So in the year of our Lord, 2023, we've decided to just change hockey.
I mean, okay, there are a lot of things about hockey that have been insane for a long time. And I think the argument that is honestly valid is you're right. Like, oh, we're just going to change it on a dime? Like, what if the sport is just nuts and we just have it be that way?
Yeah.
I'll hear that argument. That makes a lot of sense. But in the vast majority of work environments...
Yeah, it's not
like
that.
it's not even it's not like about abuse. It's not about like a ref doesn't need to take that shit.
If you
it's
say
why are
something-
you screaming?
If you say something abusive, you should be tossed from the game.
Well, but okay, let's say no, you don't get tossed from the game for that. What is the winning strategy behind screaming fuck off? And you suck, and that's a fucking joke, and you're fucking like, listen, as a fan with a stupid mic on a stupid YouTube channel, stupid Instagram, whatever, I can say a bunch of stuff, and like, it's not going to affect calls for or against. Why are you screaming at the ref like it's going to help you?
Because you're pissed. You've
I
never
know
been
because
pissed
you're
at a blown call before.
Yes, but
Steve,
I've never
have you ever
expected
been
it to
upset?
help.
Have you ever been upset at a blown call?
Yeah.
Within the last, I don't know, 3 days?
I've been pretty pissed, but I didn't expect it to help.
Yeah, neither does the coach behind the bench. He just wants a piece.
Now,
He wants a piece of that guy's ear.
Now wait though, when players do it, yes. Have you ever been pissed if a coach does it? Have you ever? Yes, I've been pissed when I see the ref yell back. Yeah. That's when it hits me. I'm like, oh, this is a little bit toxic. Like this is a little bit unproductive. You know what I mean? Because there's no onus on coaches to be professional. There's no onus on players to be professional. But then the second a ref gives it back, you're like, oh my God, what's your problem? and like, this is where like I'll stick up for the refs a little bit.
They're allowed to give it back.
Yeah.
Yes, but when they do it, I'm like, ooh.
Except you're not
Because-
allowed to push Michael Bunting off the ice with your.
That was
Except
insane.
you are. No, you
I
are, though.
still
Except
don't
you are,
understand
but you
that.
are.
Except you are, because there's no repercussions for that.
No.
I think one of the
So
biggest.
I don't understand your argument that like, hey, there's this relationship when we see things like that happen.
Michael Bunting, the biggest mistake he ever made in his career was staying upright.
Oh yeah,
When Dan Kelly, he should have fell down.
He should have twisted his ankle on purpose.
Well, if Dan
take
Kelly
the fall,
had-
act hurt, get indignant.
Dan Kelly had his jersey. If Michael had
pushed
fallen,
him twice!
I know,
Yep.
but if Michael had fallen, Dan probably falls with him. And then imagine.
And then
Michael Bunting suspended.
for 10 games. For 10 games. For 10 games. 100%. Listen, all I'm
it's
saying,
complicated. Like,
I do not I'm not calling out Jay Woodcroft specifically in this instance. I didn't see it. I saw someone.
The broadcast didn't have it. That's the thing. Like a lot of the Cronin thing is a little different because you can kind of lip read.
Yes.
And you can be like, you know what? You shouldn't say that to another person.
Yes.
But the Jay Woodcroft thing, we don't know what he said. And he says there was no profanities in it. And he was clearly, it was just, there was the call that went against the Oilers like 10 seconds ago. He's clearly yelling about that.
Yeah.
We don't know what he actually said.
I saw someone on Twitter go, "Are you blind?" And like, there's no swearing in that. It's also a bit of a rude question.
Yeah.
Like it's not about Jay Woodcroft specifically. And like, you know, as an official in any sport, you do need to have a bit of a stiff upper lip. But the relationship between players, coaches, and officials in hockey is a bit untenable.
I don't like how weak-kneed Major League umpires are and how often guys get tossed in baseball games for doing nothing.
Well, they're power tripping babies.
Yeah, because when they're wrong, they still toss umpires, and I think it's so egregious.
Coaches. The umpires still got. Yeah.
They toss the managers, and I don't want that to start happening in the NHL. And we've saw 2 coaches in the last week get tossed, and I think it's looking like a trend.
Yep. Well, I mean, I don't I don't know what goes on here because we always make fun of the fine for players who, like, Barzal, I think, took like it was accidental, but it's like a baseball swing in a guy's head, and he got a $5,000 fine. Coaches abuse an official, that's a $25,000 fine.
Yeah, for a guy who's not making $10 million.
No, and could get fired at the drop of a hat, right? Like it's almost like they're overprotected and the players are underprotected. Like, can we meet somewhere in the middle?
Oh, are you talking about the NHL?
Yes.
Crazy.
Like, all I'm saying is, it's not Jay Woodcroft specifically, but I get it. This is maybe a little overdue.
The McDavid crosscheck is so unlike McDavid, and just shout out Thatcher Demko, who like we talk about getting a save. That's a dude who gave them so many saves during those first couple minutes, and like one goal goes in, it's a clear goal by Ekholm. Like you can't do anything about that. But there was so many breakaways. I think there was 3 breakaways in the first 2 minutes of that game, and he stopped them all.
He made some saves.
Shout out Vezina Demko.
With McDavid, I'm going to disagree with you. This is McDavid when things go bad.
You think this is him?
This is him when things go bad, and I know this because we haven't seen things go bad for the Oilers for a while. Remember the one season, I can't remember when it was, I think it was 21-22. The first half of it, McDavid turned into Captain Elbow. He skated into every friggin' play like this. Like he was trying to fly south for the winter. Like he was this is him when he's trying to wake himself and his team up.
I want to talk about this, guys.
Do they lose to the Sharks on Thursday?
No, this is more important. Trust me.
Yes or no?
Okay.
The Sharks have all
Sharks
the momentum.
did win. They got all the momentum. You're right. You know what? If they do, I feel like if you lose to the Sharks, I honestly do feel like Jack Campbell going on waivers is child's play as to what would happen. You lose to the Sharks. No offense to the Sharks. Their memes have been amazing this year.
Yeah.
The win last night was emotional and incredible, and I'm happy for them. If the Oilers lose to the Sharks, we have to see a firing, I think.
Well,
Or a trade or a something. Something's bad.
The Oilers are brilliant because they're taking on an AHL team in San Jose, and they called up their best AHL goalie. They got the right man on the case.
There you go. Okay, so this is why I want to jump in with this. I'm dying to tell you guys this. Dying.
Is this breaking news?
It's a report this morning that I have just picked up on. Okay. The Edmonton Oilers are actively engaged in a conversation with a team about a goaltender. And this comes from a pretty good source, which is 630 Ched in Edmonton. And that's a pretty big Oilers radio station, and they know their shit. So, which goaltender is it? Jesse and Steve.
I think I can tell you.
Eastern or Western
I'm
Conference?
not going to tell you. Jesse, tell us. What's your guess?
Linus Ullmark in Boston.
Oh, what?
No way.
You think that Boston would get rid of him?
They got Swayman.
Who would they have instead?
What do you mean?
Who would back him up?
Bussy.
They don't. Who cares?
Oh, yeah.
Swayman's their guy.
Okay, all right.
So I know it's not the answer.
It's not the answer.
Yeah, there you
no,
go.
no.
Detroit has 3 goalies. I'm going to say James Reimer.
Oh, man, it's so much better. It's so much better. Apparently, the Oilers are in conversations actively with the St. Louis Blues for Jordan Binnington.
Oh.
That's the report.
I need this more than I need oxygen.
That's going to go so bad.
I drink my milk. I eat my vegetables. I do my chores.
You guys are baptized, aren't you? Both of you?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
See?
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, you have to pray.
You have to
Jesse,
pray.
Steve's praying, right?
Okay.
I'm the heathen, by the way.
I need this to happen. I need this to happen.
Okay, here's another rumor for you. Different team. Also a bit of a disaster start, but not really of their own making. Okay?
Okay.
There have been connections made between the Ottawa Senators and what coach? Because of the new ownership.
I did see this.
Tell us.
St. Patrick.
Patrick Waugh. What do we think about that?
I think he is one of the most fascinating guys in any coaching conversation in the sport. Mm-hmm. He's a little bit like Mark Hunter.
Okay.
Whereas Mark Hunter he's the best. He's one of the best outside of the NHL. He's one of the best the sport has to offer. Not employed. Forever and ever. Because I think he wants one specific thing, and if you can't get it, go fuck yourself.
Which is the Leafs?
Which is the Leafs. And he couldn't get it, and he said, go fuck yourself. Took his ball, went home, changed the Wi-Fi password, got upset.
In Patrick Waugh's first year with the Colorado Avalanche, which was the first year, I believe, of this show, the first full year, 52 wins, 22 losses, 112 points. In his second season, 39-31. In his third season, 39-39. They went seventh the next. So they went from first to seventh to sixth in the division. So, and they never made it out of the first round. And those were the Avs teams that were the worst analytical teams of like the era.
Well, and then he gave the Avalanche a cup because he quit, paving the way for Jared Bednar to become their head coach, and then he won a cup. Waugh quit. He said, this team sucks. I'm going to go back and coach the Remparts. I want no part of this. And he
did
quit.
just win a championship with the Remparts last year.
It's just not the same. And like, I'm not poo-pooing coaches who win in junior. I'm not trying to diminish.
This guy won the Jack Adams Award, Steve.
Yeah, okay. Which means he wasn't fired soon enough. The Jack Adams Award is supposed to be the kiss of death. You're supposed to be fired within like 24 months.
Right.
It's a little bit like this college football player is a complete star. This quarterback is a complete star. It's like it's not an exact translation though to the NFL. Right? A coach having an incredible record. Like again, why isn't Dale Hunter in the NHL? He was in the NHL for a hot minute. Like benched Ovechkin. And then went, all right, well, see ya. Well, see ya. That was fun. That's enough. Like it's junior success does not necessarily lead to NHL success.
Which would lead to more success? The Oilers getting Jordan Binnington or the Sens getting Patrick Waugh?
Ooh.
I want an answer from both of you on this one.
With the Patrick Waugh thing, I think a lot of people are kind of conflating the rumors because what Elliot Friedman said was that if one of the investor groups who were in line to buy the Ottawa Senators bought the team, their plan was to make Patrick Waugh head coach.
Yes.
I also saw someone on Twitter go, I saw Waugh at a restaurant, which made me go, yeah. He
in Ottawa?
So he lives sort of near there.
That was also false.
Was it?
Yeah, they, I forget, with Hockey Feed or something like that, retracted the rumor. And they were like, he was actually in Quebec City that day.
Oh, so not
Hilarious.
close.
Yeah.
Quebec City, not close to Ottawa.
It's not Canada. So, yeah, they did retract that rumor. But, yeah, I think if one of those groups bought the team, I think Patrick Waugh would have a better shot at the Ottawa Senators gig. But I don't know what Michael Andlauer's thinking.
I'm gonna say Waugh might have more success in Ottawa just because, like, those Avalanche teams had terrible analytics. But I almost feel like this Sens team might have more skill, especially on the back end. And yeah, they're going to give up a lot of opportunities, but they have some goaltending and they have scoring touch. Although, Binnington and Edmonton, I've been such a good boy. I've been such a good boy. Oh, please, I need this more than I need oxygen. What on earth could the Oilers give the Blues for Binnington? It would have to involve Campbell, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think you would send that back for the cap space, right? I'm trying to see if they have picks on what they can do. Yeah, the Oilers got their first, second, fifth, sixth this year, plus another sixth. And they got their first next year, second in 2026. They got draft picks they can send back if they want to.
I'm praying to the gods of hockey content. For someone who makes hockey content for a living, I need Jordan Binnington to be in Edmonton Oilers.
Jordan Binnington knows how to get hot and go on runs and also be a hothead. So it'll be very exciting if he's in Edmonton.
I need Jordan Binnington to be on the same team as Evander Kane. I need that so bad. I need Jordan Binnington to have to answer questions from the Edmonton media every day. I need this. I need this, please. Please, I don't ask you for much. I stopped asking for the Leafs to win a cup. I know you're not going to give it to me.
If this happens,
give me this.
If this happens, guys, is this Ken Holland going, this is my last ditch?
Absolutely.
I hope so.
I mean, okay, someone whose name wasn't Ken Holland would have been fired by now.
Yep.
But his name's Ken Holland. Like, I know people don't want to be the guy to fire Ken Holland, but, like, what else do you need? Here's the craziest duo in a quarter century. Oh, you're in last.
And they're on good contracts, too.
Yep.
Seems bad. Yeah.
You have been gifted 2 generational superstars, and you can't win. That is embarrassing.
And you can.
You're a failure.
The Penguins prove that you can when you get 2 generational.
Also, so those
you can win.
The McDavid and Draisaitl contracts you bring up, people go, well, isn't that a reason to keep him? I don't think he was the guy who signed him.
Chiarelli did.
Oh, my God.
Both of them.
Future Senators.
Pete Chiarelli signed Leon, and Pete Chiarelli signed Connor. There you go.
Honestly, credit where it's due. Those are 2 good deals.
Great deals.
That Leon one's one of the greatest deals ever.
That, man. And it was such an overpay at the time.
And look how it turned out.
It turned out great. It turned out great.
Crazy, yeah.
Damn. That's some Nostradamus shit.
Isn't that nuts?
Oh, we carved it on the show.
Yep.
8.5 for a guy who had not done anything. He hadn't. And then that first playoff run in 2017, he was an animal.
Yeah. And I was like, might have to walk that back.
Whoops.
The Calgary Flames won. Huberdeau was benched.
Oh.
The Calgary Flames beat the Nashville Predators, a game they sorely needed. Nazem Kadri got his 2nd goal of the year. It was on an open net, but still, we give it to him.
Who cares?
They beat the Nashville Predators. But the story, again, it's funny with the Flames, even when something good happens, the story is not about the good thing. The story is about Huberdeau and being benched. And the coach, Ryan Huska, said it was because his game was not going that night. Yeah. This is getting sour really bad. And I don't know what the way out here is because I don't know how you move that contract.
I don't think you can. Yeah. Like, I saw there was some tweets. I think it was like the uncle of Johnny Gaudreau or something like that was talking about like a Huberdeau for Gaudreau trade. I mean, those are 2.
Was it his actual uncle?
I don't know if it's, I mean, it's Twitter, so you have no fucking clue who anyone is anymore. Elon, you dumbass. Like there's Gaudreau and Huberdeau, they make roughly the same amount of money and their contracts are going roughly as well. As one another.
But I thought Johnny wanted to be closer to family. I mean, if Johnny's uncle's saying he wants to go back to Calgary, that would be weird.
Well, then I have no friggin'...
Or Johnny's Twitter uncle. I don't know if he's his real uncle.
Huberdeau also has a no movement clause, so...
Well, I think
he might take it.
I think he'd be willing to waive it.
Yeah?
No one's told us that. Yes, we do a show with his agent. We know. No one has told us that, but I think... being a human on Earth, I have reasonable reason to believe that he would waive it. Like, listen, a lot of people are like, hey, he makes $10.5 million. Sign me up for that. But guys, he's a competitor. The reason he has $10.5 million a year is because he's competitive. Like, I saw people talk about how Barkov made him. And, like, listen, I'm sure playing with Sasha Barkov as your center was sick, and I'm sure it helped. I looked it up last night. Huberdeau had 27 or 28 more points than any other Panther the year he had 115. And Barkov missed 15, 20 games, something like that season. Jonathan Huberdeau earned that contract, and it's going so poorly, and he's a competitor, and he's human.
Yeah.
He's human. Like, it's one thing. There's such a subtle difference between anger and sadness. And you see a guy break their stick and scream and slam their helmet and everything. You go, "Ooh." And like you can almost laugh at it and you go, oh, fuck, someone's having a bad Tuesday. With Huberdeau last night, like, oh, I don't know how that doesn't hit you.
Oh yeah, it was.
I don't.
Scene.
That's heartbreaking, man. And like, there's no easy solution there.
Yeah, that's a long-term problem.
He's not playing on a team with no talent. He's not playing on a team with no centers. Oh, I do not know what you do there. I do, and I think maybe where the emotion is coming from with him is he doesn't know either.
Yeah, it seems like he's at a loss as much as the organization, because this is a player who had 4 straight point-a-game seasons, you know, and then the 115 one to cap it off. And then after that, it's just been, you think it's the head coach last year, and then you come into this season, new head coach, new situation, you know, better vibes, and that didn't help.
Well, the vibes are obviously not there.
Yeah, the vibes are now gone.
And
Yes.
also, like, imagine you have the hottest year of your career, followed up by the worst year of your career, probably. A coaching change is not going to fix it that quickly. And like one thing, like it's Adam Huska? Ryan, sorry. One thing Ryan Huska has to do here, it's a big challenge, and I think by benching Huberdeau, he's trying to get past this, is you fire Daryl Sutter, who is a hard ass. So you're happy-go-lucky guy? Everyone thinks they can just walk all over you? No, you got to come in and say, bullshit.
Yeah.
You're not playing well enough and you got a bench guy.
No one's blaming Huska for this situation. If anything, it's like, wow, he made a really tough decision.
Isn't it the most obvious thing in the world that it's not Huska? Like, if there's anyone to blame for what's going on in Calgary, it's honestly one of the leading candidates might be the guy in charge in Toronto.
I was wondering when we'd get to that.
But like also Greg
question.
Conroy's now in charge, and he's been there since 2014
Yeah. He was the right-hand man.
as the assistant GM. Oh, well, it's ownership. Well, then you're more fucked than we even know.
Yeah, because you can't fire ownership.
No. Can't fire ownership.
Sens fans tried. Ask him how it went.
Yeah.
He literally died until they couldn't get rid of him.
He would not leave.
Yeah.
This is my team, gosh darn.
I can't even afford this team anymore, and I will not sell it.
I will not sell it. He was making a point, you know? So when it comes to Jonathan Huberdeau, I don't have an answer for you. I have no idea what to do.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a long-term thing, and there's a confidence thing there. You could see it, to me, the shot, and I really wish for his sake that this hadn't happened on camera. But he's sitting at the end of the bench, and he's got his, he's bent, hunched over, and he's got his, his glove in his face, and it's brutal to see because he's a great guy.
I'm hoping
his teammates love him.
Sweat out of his eyes, but I have no idea.
Yeah, frustration though.
Yeah, there it is, Maddie, if you want to bring it up. So Adam doesn't have to keep... Adam,
I thought my acting...
Do you want to do a rendition of it?
No, that was great. You took me right back to Sir Oliver Mowat there.
By the way, my helmet is that red.
It sure is.
I have a red Nike helmet.
Yeah,
do it again.
Ugh.
There you go.
Now here's the thing. A goal scorer gets into a goal scoring slump. What do? You pass him the puck and tell him to shoot it until it goes in. Mm-hmm. A playmaker goes into a slump.
And you don't have a finisher.
If guys aren't scoring, that person is fucked. And this is a guy who I think he scored 30 goals before.
Yeah, but he's not known for that.
It's not what he does. It's not his bread and butter. His bread and butter is setting up plays, and he needs people to finish them, and then he's not in control.
His career high in goals is 30.
Mm-hmm. And I think it was the 115 point.
It was. He actually did it before in 18-19 as well.
Oh, there you go.
2-time 30-goal scorer. What a season. And it's just so hard to see because, you wonder if now we got to start looking at it's not Huberdeau, it's the pieces around him. And how is he able to get going if he doesn't have any teammates who play towards his style of game? Maybe it's just a really, really bad fit.
But okay.
I think Jesse, you're right. But I don't even think it's like they got to start. They have no choice but to look at it that way because they're married.
Yeah.
They're stuck.
Yeah.
If you look at players though, around the league. So let's say Barkov was the root of his success. Let's say that's true. I don't think it is, but let's say
not Barkov exactly. A Barkov-like player.
Right. So you are in charge of replicating Barkov. Okay, I have a guy who scored 40 goals. I have a guy who was nominated for the Selke Trophy. I have a guy who plays the middle. Elias Lindholm. The fuck?
But
this should be...
Their games clearly don't complement each other.
No, Barkov's left, Lindholm's right. I mean, yeah, exactly. Sure.
But I've heard NBA players talk about this before, where it's they talk about like the guys around the bench area, not the premier starters, the guys who fill out the rest of the roster, and a lot of it is in, hey, that guy's a bad player, that guy's in a bad situation, and if you get the right player in the right situation, that guy can turn into a really good player. And I wonder if Jonathan Huberdeau is just in a bad situation for him.
Well, and we talk about there was a really interesting clip. Was it the Empty Netters? I'm trying to remember. It's Tage Thompson, and we always talk about center being harder to play than wing. That's not true if you're a center. So Tage Thompson was a center. They put him on the wing, and he was bad, and we're all like, "Oh, look at Tage Thompson, he's bad." And then they put him at center again, and we're all like, "Oh, you morons! Like that's not going to work." And then he fucking scores 1 million goals.
Yeah, if you think about, hey, yeah, center is difficult because there's more ice to play with. But when you're playing center, you have more freedom because when you're playing wing, you're up against the boards. One side of your entire play surface is taken away, and it's a different kind of skill to play.
Yes.
That's why Leon Draisaitl, when he plays the wing, I like him there more because he's such an expert on his backhand. Like, he's an incredible player, and like he's obviously great at center too, but I feel like he's even more dynamic on the wing because he knows how to play there. And yeah, it's a different situation, and I don't know. I'm at a loss for Huberdeau. I feel bad.
I don't know how you get him points because you gotta finish, for God's sake.
Looks like the Minnesota Wild are in the midst of trading Kalen Addison to the San Jose Sharks.
Ooh.
According to Kevin Weeks. Kalen Addison's a young defenseman. He put up some good points last year. Doesn't make a whole lot of money. He put up 29 points in 62 games. I don't think his contract's that crazy or anything. So
Told you guys.
$825,000 is what he makes.
What's going
on
What's
here?
the return?
We don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
You don't know yet. It's just Kevin Weeks put out his, the Kevin Weeks video where he's
selfie,
like, where he's like this. Yeah. It's just Kevin's eyes smiling at you.
He's Wilson from
Home
Improvement. That's Minnesota. I assume Kalen Addison couldn't get into the lineup, or they have plans for someone else underneath him. Minnesota is in a world of cap shit. So.
I think it's funny that they're trading a defenseman that's making $825.
Well,
especially with a team in cap shit.
I wonder what the Sharks are paying, because you can't use every damn draft pick.
Yeah,
as we've seen, and also like I said, yes, it is the Sharks' goal to tank this year and get a high draft pick. No, it is not their goal to allow 10 fucking goals every night.
As far as I'm concerned, they've already got the best chance at the first overall pick.
What are the odds?
What are the odds they catch up?
So someone said the Sharks could tie the Oilers with a win. On
no
Thursday.
way.
Hold on. I'm checking.
If the Sharks beat, they play the Oilers.
That's so
tomorrow.
bad, dude. That's so bad.
It's crazy.
Oh my God, they're right.
Yeah.
So, but Edmonton would hold the tiebreak because they play one less game.
Okay. Whatever.
Edmonton's winning percentage right now is a .227.
Edmonton is verging on you're too far out that making the playoffs is impossible.
I think it was CJ that said in a group chat yesterday they have to play at 103-point pace to make playoffs.
That's not bad.
They can do that.
They can easily do that.
We're like 3 weeks away from you're still bad and you are going to miss the playoffs.
It's kind of nuts.
And if you miss the playoffs with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, everybody in the entire organization should be fired. Should we sell the team?
I'm looking at the stats here. The Oilers have a negative 18 goal differential.
Yeah.
The Sharks have a negative 42 goal differential.
It doesn't even look real.
And they're only 2 points behind the Oilers.
It doesn't
like
even
that's
look
so
real.
freaking nuts.
It's crazy. I don't remember who posted this stat. Maybe you guys can find it. The Vegas Golden Knights points percentage in the standings is currently higher than the Edmonton Oilers save percentage as a team.
That's funny.
It's one of the craziest stats I've ever heard.
Because they're 13 games in.
Being this far into the season and that still being true. Like, do you know how good Vegas has to be and how bad Edmonton has to be for that stat to be true?
What's Edmonton's save percentage?
Like fucking 2. Like,
because that stat's probably true for Boston and Vegas. Because Boston's an 875 points percentage and Vegas is a 885. Save
Yes.
maybe it changes every day.
So we'll see.
Oilers, I don't know, 850, 60,
Yep.
something like that. Dude, it's abysmal. It's abysmal. Like, no wonder they're like, all right, yeah, we'll waive Jack Campbell. I don't know.
Fucking try something.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I don't fucking know, man. Was it the Don Cherry, if he had a podcast back in the day we used to do if Don Cherry had a podcast? I don't fucking man, that's great.
He should swear. I think more
I'm
people
sure
would.
maybe he does on his show. The Sharks do get a victory. We mentioned it earlier. It's against the Flyers.
That is the most flyer thing. By
you-
the way, they're actually having like a somewhat decent start, and they lose to the Sharks.
Do you want to know? The only thing I could think was first off, the elation with the Sharks was great, but I would hate to go into the dressing room with John Tortorella after losing to the Sharks.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
That it's going to be an ugly practice today. Oh, it's going to be ugly. Like that is
It had to be someone.
that shit matters to him though, and it
You know
should.
what? Yeah, I just said that it had to be someone. No, it didn't.
It didn't have to be. We actually showed with the Sharks that it had to be. It didn't have to be anyone.
I remember reading this in the hockey news once. I remember reading it at the zoo. I was bored. It was a slow day. But it was a season preview. I think it was for the Atlanta Thrashers. And they were talking about Mark Savard. And they said one of my least favorite phrases in the sport, even on bad teams, someone has to score. Because Savard was putting up a ton of points. Now, Savard went to not Atlanta, and we know that's not, true. He continued to
He
score
scored in
on
Calgary
good
too. I don't know what anyone's talking
Yeah,
about.
I don't know what that's all about. No one has to score on the San Jose Sharks. Who leads them in goals?
I don't.
Has it updated from the last 3 times we've had this conversation? Is the answer still 3 goals? A feat that Matthews has done in a game 3 different times this year?
Right.
Frank Vetrano has done more than once?
Thomas Hertl leads them in points. In goals, the leader is Anthony Duclair and Fabian Zetterlund. Both have 3 goals
Each.
And look at Zadaddy there with 2 goals.
Philip Zadina, a minus 14.
Oh!
Okay, but everybody on the team is almost minus 10.
Is he the worst on the team?
He's
yeah,
the
he
worst.
sure is.
Out of the worst, he is the worst.
I'm rooting for him. I'm really rooting for Zadina.
And one of them was a power play goal.
Anybody who plays any minutes on that team is a minus 10 or higher.
His
No, where are you looking at?
Like, look at that. Go back to the plus minus. Like Zadina, Burrows, Mario Ferraro, if you can see Thomas Hertl, Duclair, Ruda, and Nico Sturm are all over minus 10. Fabian Zetterlund and Luke Kunin are at minus 9 and minus 8.
Oh my god.
Anybody a plus? Oh no. We got.
Wait, can you do the
Why isn't? Oh, there you go. Granlund
Granlund.
is their best plus minus player, tied with Ty Everson.
And he's played 5
and
games.
Theron
Can you go over to
and
OTG?
Barabana. Yeah. What's that goes?
What the hell does OTG stand for?
Overtime goals.
Okay, they don't
No,
have
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Why would they? That doesn't.
What does
I would
it?
think it's over because it's shorthanded goals, game-winning goals, and then OTG.
What website is this?
The NHL.com.
Jesus
Can
Lord,
you,
guys.
can you scroll over that and find, like, does it not?
So yeah, I'm gonna hold it.
What the hell is OTG?
So it doesn't even tell you.
Terms.
No glossary.
No.
What does OTG stand for? That's hilarious.
Overtime
It doesn't have to be
Over the goal
overtime.
shots?
Over the goal. Yeah, maybe that's the amount of time.
It can't be.
Something goals, and the OT should be overtime, but that doesn't make sense because they don't have this.
Is it supposed to be game tying goals? Oh,
No.
over
GTG.
What the fuck is it?
GTG would make sense.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah, Maddie
not.
says overtime.
Yeah, it
goals.
can't be. It can't
But
be
it
overtime
can't
goals.
because they haven't scored this many overtime goals.
Man, I hate when you score in overtime and lose. Sucks.
I know. I was about to say, oh yeah, Zadina has a power play goal and an overtime goal. Wait a sec. No, he doesn't.
Game tying goals would make the most sense. It would.
Yeah, game time goals would make sense, but I don't. Why would? Maybe they just mislabeled it.
Yeah, I think they did. Or they're wrong on the two.
Did you know? So I went to team stats on NHL.com. You do a whole glossary of team stats. Save percentage isn't one of the sortable terms. So Maddie, bring this one up. So if you go to NHL.com and you go to stats, team stats by season, this season, save percentage isn't a sortable stat.
Is this what Greg Wyshynski was alluding to? Like they're trying to artificially make it more difficult for you to see who's bad?
I don't know.
I think
I don't know why you would hide save percentage.
Here's you want to make $1 million?
Like, what?
Start a website called NHL.com but good. NHL.com but good. NHLDOTCOM but good.com, and then track all these stats and make them easy to find.
I'm not a crazy
Have that.
person,
It's called
right?
cap friendly.
I'm not crazy.
You're not crazy.
Save percentage isn't there amongst their
I know.
Here are the normal stats you might want to look
Now,
up.
it might be under more filters.
Where's more filters?
It's
No,
terrible.
these are like for if you want to sort by home and road and all results, win losses, overtime loss, opponents.
You're right though. It's like
There's no-
it's such a basic stat.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, no, you know what I need? 4 penalty kill stats.
The Kalen Addison trade is been confirmed by Michael Russo. The Wild will get a 5th round pick in 2026.
So it's the Lafferty trade basically.
Weird.
No, Minnesota they want to get rid of anything that's basically not on their roster.
Yeah, I guess
And
so.
San Jose gets ever so slightly better.
Here we go. OTG, according to NHL.com, and they have a sortable thing here, OTGs, overtime goals.
Okay, so
What the fuck?
So they're just wrong.
They're wrong on their San Jose Sharks overtime goal stats because that wouldn't make sense that there were so many overtime goals.
Nice that OTGs are sortable, but save percentage is not. No, you can't look at that. You know the funny thing about the NHL is they're so obsessed with parity, and yet we're talking already about a century worst team.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
There's an obsession with, it makes everybody more competitive.
Teams
No,
don't tank.
it doesn't.
Adam,
Teams don't tank.
And to just to underscore your point, last year we had a century great team.
Yes.
And then this year we have 2 century.
Yes.
The parity doesn't work with the cap.
Yeah, the parity it's the biggest bullshit because teams do need to tank. Why wouldn't you tank? Look how it worked for the Leafs. It did.
Vegas cracked the code.
Yeah, they did.
They really cracked the code.
The
I'm just
greatest
saying.
regular season team of all time played last season.
Yes. There
then
is no parity.
And then this season we have one of the worst regular season teams of all time.
It's not parity, Parity. It's Parody. Parody. I'm gonna get my New Balances on. Last thing before we do a press conference, Vinny Lettieri scored last night.
Yes.
His grandfather was in the booth
Calling the goal.
calling the game, which I think is pretty neat. And I'm pretty sure it's Lou Nanny. I think it's or Lou Nani.
I don't know who
Yeah.
Lou Nani is.
Wild color commentator. Well, Lou Nani.
And that is how I would say it.
Yes.
Lounanne.
I have not watched a lot of local Wild games. I'm sorry.
I don't blame you.
But I just think it's neat that Vinny Lettieri scored with his grandfather in the booth. I think that's pretty neat.
As a Scarborough native, I don't think it's Lou Nani.
It might be.
It might be Lou Nani.
We'll say Nani. Nanny. We'll say Nene.
We'll say-
Nene.
Lewis
Yeah. Louis Archibald.
Nanny.
Nanny.
I don't know.
Anyway, congratulations to Vinny. That's very, very cool. And I feel like that's an NHL first.
Oh my gosh. Geez, I can't think of it ever.
There's a lot of like family vibes in the NHL, but I feel like that's a first.
I thought it was pretty damn cool.
It is cool. Let's do the press conference.
Woo!
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
All right. Well, we've been waiting all show to get to
Lou Nane.
We've been waiting all since the beginning of August to get to this. Steve Dangle sitting next to me to my right won a championship. It was his greatest athletic achievement of his entire life.
Ever.
He is on McFlurry. McFlurry Power, who are the champions of Floorball 2 in the Jomboy warehouse. Round of applause.
Right.
The
Hooray
final
for me!
game aired last night at 6 p.m. Eastern live on the Jomboy Warehouse YouTube channel. You can go check that game right now. You can go watch it back if you like. Full spoilers. I just spoiled it for you. Steve's team won. Mm-hmm. Steve, how does it feel? What is it like? You are a champion. We can finally reveal that you did indeed win.
Oh, I feel like you're stapling my eyes shut right now. Like I can't. I haven't been able to stop smiling and gushing about this. When were we there? August 3rd to 6th,
Yeah.
I think. And it's now November 8th. Yeah. So, like, I've just been buzzing. I went to this thing. So, I almost pulled out, like, about a week before. Because I had tweaked my back, and I was like, oh, my God. Like, this is going to be really difficult. And I worked with my trainer and got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm going to be fine. And I just didn't want to make a fool of myself. Mm-hmm. That was it. I went there specifically, like, just don't make a fool of yourself. And we won our first game by the skin of our teeth. And I was like, okay. And then we killed the second team. And I got a goal. I got the 7th goal in an 11-2 win. It didn't really...
You still scored, though.
I still scored, and I was like, all right, I got it. Didn't really feel like a goal, though. And we were the 1 seed heading into the playoffs. So I was like, okay. Then I got a real goal a minute into our first playoff game that, like, counted. And we win that game. And we're into the final, and I'm like, we might fucking win this thing. And then we won. We, like, dude, in terms of, like, listen, look at me. I'm not an athlete. In terms of, I love that photo, Jesse. I fucking love it.
For everybody listening, this is the confetti cannons went off when the clock hit 0 and McFlurry was the champion, and I stormed Steve and I gave him the biggest nuggie ever. And
That's
grabbed onto
so
him.
great.
Steve was you were so elated. Like, I've never seen you that happy and just out of breath and relieved, and every emotion ever, you had it at that same time.
Well, and like in the mob there, so the guy right next to you in the Jomboy hat with the white McFlurry Power jersey, I'm pretty sure is Jimmy. I'm pretty sure that's Jomboy himself. And
that is.
like in the pile, he comes right up to me and he was basically like, you did it.
Yep.
Because I remember in orientation, I'm like walking around the room and I'm like saying hi to everybody. And just out of curiosity, I Googled Jimmy, like to see how old he was. And I'm like, oh, shit, he's 34. Fuck, I'm 35. Mm-hmm. Shit, I'm the oldest player here.
And it turns out you were the second oldest, but... Still.
Yeah, Kane Van Gate, who is somewhere in there, but he was a goalie, though.
Yeah.
So I was the oldest position player.
Yeah. And you were like, how am I going to even compete in this? How am I going to keep up?
And Jimmy was like, listen, like, I'm one of the older guys, too. But, like, he takes it seriously. He's like, I'm down, like, 20 pounds from last year. He's crazy fast.
Yeah.
He can rip the thing.
And you had no idea going in, and you're like, fuck, I didn't prepare like that.
No, like,
Do you remember the run you went on the week before? You went on a jog?
Oh, I went on a jog. You might have thought about that.
It was one of my favorite things. And Steve's like, I went on a jog for the first time in 10 years.
So I know I don't look like it. I exercise all the time.
Yeah.
And like
But not cardio.
At least once a week, but not like running. And I went on a run and I'm like, oh, I'm fucked. Oh, I'm so fucked. And we get there in New Jersey and the court is smaller than I thought. And I'm like, thank God. Thank God, or I'd be boned. I never in a million years thought we were going to win this. Like, we had such a good team. K-Mac was the best goalie by far. There you are. So, Jesse's... Oh, Maddie, you're actually allowed to show this footage.
You want me to just play it?
You can if you want. But like,
'Cause I don't want it to trigger, and then we gotta them and be like, hey,
trigger stuff.
Take this monetization off. And all.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
No, but I like Jesse. So you're pulling me back there a bit, and I'm like stumbling because I fucked my ankle up with like 30 seconds to go in the game.
Yeah, you fall to the ground as there's like 5 seconds left.
Yeah, because I was just like, I wanted it to look. I wanted to be more mobile. Yeah, there I am.
There you are,
Not in the team huddle at all. I wanted to be more mobile in the final 30 seconds to like put pressure on and get my stick into situations, but I couldn't put weight on my left ankle, like not a lot of it, and I just kept getting down and blocking shots. So I was trying to trick We Got Ice into thinking that's what I wanted to do, because I was like, well, if they know I'm hurt, they're going to target me, right? Because I mean, fuck, they were such a good team. If you watch the final, we were not the better team. We weren't.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I drew the penalty.
Yep.
For the game-winning goal on the power play. Missed the net immediately after. I'm buzzing. Like, look at me. I'm not an athlete. I did track in school. I was pretty good at it. Back problems started when I was pretty young. And like I told the story in the video. When Leo was a baby, I screwed my back up so bad I was feeding him bottles in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m, from my knees, because I couldn't sit. Like, my back was fucking killing me. And it's been like 2-3 years hard work, at least once a week with a trainer to get to a point where, like, I'm not an athlete, but I'm comfortable, like, every day. I do a 5-minute routine every morning. Like, that's why I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing. And also, like, it's Jomboy. Like, I'm a fan.
Yep.
I'm legitimately a fan. And you were there when I met him. I was flustered.
Yeah.
I was flustered. And like, I talk to professional hockey players for like a living, and like, it doesn't bother me. I was flustered meeting Jemmy. So I mean, keeping that a secret was difficult. There are a few people in the comments who were like, Steve is a little too excited about this. I think he wins.
Whatever, man.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Like, what a good friend Jesse is. Like, he comes right over to me and mobs me.
That was awesome.
And the beer.
What a week that was.
The beer.
Yeah. Tell your steam whistle story.
So, okay, the game started at 2:00. We've won the championship by 3:00. Get dressed, get changed, and then we were immediately in a shuttle car to the airport. Like, we didn't even like get to celebrate or anything. But Jesse and I flew back on Porter Airlines. And if you know Porter, you get free steam whistle beer on the flight. I didn't have it on the way there because I was like, again, like, just so in my head, so worried. I'm like, no, can't even have a beer before this. I need to be in the best shape possible. And I jokingly said to myself, and I think I might have said it to you, Jesse, I was like, no, I'll have a beer on the way home after we've won.
Yep. And what happened?
I was like this, like I had an aisle seat, and I'm like hanging out the aisle. I'm like, bring me my championship beer, bring it. And they brought it to me. It was the most satisfying damn beer I've ever drank in my entire life. And I kept the can, and I will never throw it away, ever.
It's the way Jomboy and the team down there do the tournament is just, it makes you feel like you've achieved all your dreams. The fact that now there's a banner in the warehouse.
I've seen a photo of it.
It's raised to the rafters that says McFlurry Power, Floorball 2, Champions, and that gets to hang there forever until that warehouse is taken down. Like, that shit is so fucking cool. And congratulations, Steve.
Yeah.
You
Thank
earned
you.
it. You played you were the perfect piece for that team. The way you played the entire tournament.
Just defensively responsible.
Yeah, no, but that's exactly what they need, because they had Chelsea, who had the greatest hands of any hockey player ever, and Nick, who's an unreal hockey player as well, and
really
scored that game-winning goal through his legs. The score ended 1-0. It does that, and then you were there, back there, playing responsible defense every single time the puck was going down to their end, your own end.
Well, and like, so we played We Got Ice. We played them twice, and so did you. Like, you had the worst schedule.
Oh
Like,
my gosh,
So
yeah.
now that that everyone's seen how the floorball games went, Love just got fucked. Like,
just scheduling wise, it wasn't in our favor.
you played the semifinal, which was probably the best game of the tournament, was We Got Ice versus Woogas. You had to play Woogas, We Got Ice, We Got Ice.
Yeah.
That's the worst schedule anyone had. And it just worked out that way.
Yeah. And we were in it. Like, we were in all those games, those one-goal games until the end.
You didn't get killed by any of them?
No.
So we narrowly beat We Got Ice in the first game. And we were getting asked, because we had the first semifinal and we won, who do you want to play in the final? And we're all like, oh, shit. Woogas, I didn't want to play Woogas because they had their top goal scorer was Luke O'Brien. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to use my size. Unless it's Luke O'Brien, who is bigger than me. So that's going to be a problem.
Their other goal scorer was Corwin.
Corwin
so they were
unbelievable.
They were a different beast because they had 2 high-end goal scorers. I don't think any other team had that.
Corwin was a crazy playmaker.
Yeah.
Lauren Russell was good too.
But he was also sniping so many shots.
He was well, yeah, he scored on you guys from beyond half court, like insane. You got a half quarter as well.
Yeah, but like the way you guys handled them at the end, like it was just great defense, and a lot of that started with you.
Oh,
There you
we
go.
had Ice
And you had the best goalie in the tournament besides our goalie.
easily.
Besides Dalton.
Yeah, Dalton. What was it? He had 34 saves, which was second in the tournament, and Kyle had 58. It's stupid. He had 20 saves in the final. We Got Ice was a cheat code. Jack Doyle in net is so athletic. Zoe Demalia is a great floorball player. Reagan Rust is one of the she's got to be the best athlete I've ever played against in anything.
Yeah, she going up against Reagan. You're like, oh, there's a reason she played pro hockey
And trying, trying. Like I've played little.
Play for Boston University. That's D1.
Yeah.
That's Division 1 hockey.
It's not fair. It's a little unfair.
Oh,
How is she out there with us?
and so DZ from Bar Down was a little bit of their weak link in the first game that we played against them because he got a ton of chances, wasn't able to convert on them.
Yeah.
Then in the semifinal, he scores both their goals.
Who has the winners?
And they're sick.
Yeah.
And
one's Bobby Orr-esque. He's falling on his face and he scores.
his winner, and I was the closest spectator to him, and he falls to the ground, and I'm like, yeah, oh, fuck. So we didn't want to play Woogas, and then we didn't want to play them either.
And in the end,
crazy good.
You guys took care of business.
I'm buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. Oh, I'm so happy. So one of the comments was like, oh, Steve, get into better shape. I'm like, I'm on a steady diet of chips.
Chips with the dip.
Chips with the dip. Put it on a banner. Give me a trophy. Give me a can of beer. McFlurry power for life.
McFlurry.
McFlurry.
Copyright.
I should probably tell that story.
What story?
Well, why they're called McFlurry Power. It's not sponsored by McDonald's.
No. Okay. What is it? Go ahead.
So I can't remember the name of the player. So Kyle McDonald, K-Mac, played in the minors for the Yankees.
Oh, wow.
He's a Yankees draft pick, but he's Canadian. And there was a player who he played with, and I can't remember his name, but they walk into the clubhouse and he's having him. Sorry?
A-Rod.
It's Derek Jeter. And it's before the game, and they're having a McFlurry.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, what are you doing? We're about to play a professional baseball game. Why are you having a McFlurry? And he goes out there and he hits 2 home runs.
Yeah.
And they're like,
I love that.
Athletes are built different.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, damn, you got to do it again next time. So he does. He has a McFlurry before the next game. Guy hits 2 more home runs.
Amazing.
And so they started calling it McFlurry Power.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, my name's Kyle McDonald. So that's how they became McFlurry Power.
Yeah.
There you go. Love that.
Buzzing.
You
will address me as Steve Dangle champion.
You should have told me you were wearing your jersey today. I would have thrown on that one.
Have you filled out the awards ballot?
No, I don't feel like I should be able to vote on awards. I was in the tournament.
Well, I didn't vote for me on anything. It was just one of them was best jersey, and I voted for Love Yous.
Thanks, Steve.
What's the best jersey?
It is, but I don't need a participation trophy.
It's not a participation trophy. You fucking wore that jersey nice.
Adam,
Yes.
there's a lot of awards there for for best first time in the warehouse, MVP of the tournament, best D, best goalie. Steve comes and he's like, you know what? Voted for you for best jersey. High five,
You know
little
what,
man.
Jesse? You got
Here's your orange slice.
You got to just take your wins, man.
No.
Just be accepting of the
got
gift.
the win. He's got the chips with the dip.
Be accepting of the gift, Jesse.
No.
One of the awards is for third tallest goalie. I don't remember who I voted for.
It's a very specific award.
Yeah, you have got tallest man. Most times mentioned as tallest man.
Yeah, you probably would get meant.
Is that an award?
It ought to be. It wasn't, but it ought to be.
No. I feel like we're in the competition. That's for the fans of Jomboy in the tournament to vote on. That's why I'm gonna.
Well, congratulations, Steve.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The joy on your face is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
It's great.
I don't even get. Oh, one last thing.
Oh my god!
One
Oh
last
my
thing.
god! End the show. Oh my god!
No, I promise this is worth it. So you know how you're like, all right, Steve, that's great. Yeah, let's talk about floorball again.
No, I'm fine with it.
Imagine how I've been at home.
Oh, I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
Your
Imagine how
wife is probably so sick of it.
So my wife has been like, oh, okay, yeah, it's floorball again. But I've been getting Leo to play with the stick. I have a floorball stick and a floorball ball. And I was just bugging her with it one night and just about like how much I talk about it. And I was like, Leo, Daddy's a floorball champion. Did you know that? And so every time he sees anything to do with this, he goes, Daddy's a champion. I go, yes, I am, son. Yes, I am, 3-year-old son who thinks I'm the best in the world.
It doesn't last long, so take that moment.
Oh, I'm milking it for all it's worth. No, he'll be sick of me in no time.
All right,
but
Jesse, I
for
think
now,
you get the
I'm his
extra.
hero.
Imagine how you feel right now winning this floorball tournament. Imagine how guys feel when they win the Stanley Cup.
Oh, I understand. We are the same. Me and Teemu Solani crying when he finally won the cup.
Yep.
Like, you know what? I get it.
Yeah. Good for you.
I know.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.